Well, the numbers are impressive, but the intention behind them goes even deeper. Coming up, we're going to head back downtown to the Urban Stillhouse and talk about the rebirth of the American Heartland.
Lord, he knows I need her, and you know I'd never leave her, and I hope she's coming home to stay. Well, I got out one day and got looking around, and what I found brought me to my knees. The finest little girl in the whole world these eyes.
We're back here at Urban Stillhouse with Mayor Alan Keck. So we've seen the distillery, we've talked about the growth, now we're going to talk about the why. This is way more than just talking about bourbon. It's about a cultural shift. Mayor Keck, in the last segment, we talked a little bit about the Heartland and how this is the rebirth of the Heartland. I want to talk a little bit more about that, but I'm also super curious to hear about a trip that you recently took, an unexpected trip that really helped your vision for Somerset and kind of set the tone for this community to stop apologizing for what it's not.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
Unexpected, I think, is at least the right word. I mean, I would have never dreamed what happened on this journey to Israel. And it's funny now talking about Kentucky as the Heartland. For me, as a Christian, you know, Israel is the Holy Land. It's sort of the heartland of the world in a lot of ways. And I always knew I wanted to have a sister city there. It's actually one of the things that I haven't accomplished yet, that regrettably, although a lot of things have happened over there since that vision was cast. But I went in the summer of 2018, and I was trying to kind of prepare for doing this job. I wanted to go see some other cities, see some culture, but meet a mayor in hopes to discuss sort of some of these shared practices. I mean, they're one of the leaders in agriculture, they're one of the leaders in technology, healthcare, obviously national defense. And so Kentucky has a lot of those industries here, agriculture being the key among it. So long story short, I'm over there, and the gentleman that's supposed to meet me, his flight gets canceled, and the mayor I'm supposed to meet with isn't able to join me because he got called in on reserve duty. And so I'm left in Tel Aviv alone and get to experience some amazing things. Well, the next day my buddy shows up and we're walking around Jerusalem. And I see all these things that I was blown away by. Street art, what looked like graffiti but done in a way to honor past local leaders. I see lights literally in every alleyway, beautifying every street corner. And then the one that probably jumped out the most, we were just walking down the streets of Jerusalem, and I see what had to be 60 or 70 people gathered around a corner, a city block, and they're singing. And I said, Shvi, what in the world are they doing? He said, what are you talking about? They're playing a street piano, having fun. And I thought, that's community. And I looked behind it, and there's the city hall in Jerusalem, and it was fully lit up. And I thought, if this can happen in what some people believe is the most divided place in the world, then surely to goodness we can experience community in Somerset, Kentucky, in the Heartland, as you said. And so I kind of vowed in that moment that we're gonna light up Somerset with the things that bring people together: music, food, spirits, lights. And you know, we're gonna take away that darkness by lighting it up and find those things that bring people together in a unique way.
Talk a little bit more about the Light Up Somerset campaign and how that became a great example, the first example of shifting from a culture of no to a culture of yes.
Yeah, and what was so cool is it was simple. I knew we had talented musicians. I knew we had talented artists. I knew we had a downtown that would be pretty if you hung some street lights up and let people come and take pictures. And so we just kind of made that promise. I said, look, if you give me the chance to lead and serve this community, we're going to light it up. The blank walls are going to turn into, we're going to splash paint all over them, and we're going to do it in a beautiful way. And so now we've got a mural trail. We've got multiple alleyways that you can come down and take pictures under the lights. Our downtown, the trees are lit up. We've had festivals where our locals get to sort of exercise their dreams by playing in front of their hometown. We have young singer-songwriters getting to play in front of their hometown and their parents and their friends for the first time. We're lighting up Somerset, and we're doing it with our best and brightest. They don't have to leave and go do it anywhere else now. They can do it right here, again, in South Central Kentucky.
And that must be such a delicate balance to make sure that you're always making sure that the community, the citizens that call Somerset their home, are seeing the changes and are a part of the pride of this community, but also attracting new visitors to come here.
Yeah.
Bring tourism here. How do you balance that to make sure that everything is always working in tandem?
Well, that is a tough balance.
Yeah.
We've said we want strategic growth, not chaotic growth. Sometimes communities can go so fast that they leave their own behind. So yeah, we might bring in a bigger act to be the headliner, but that morning or that afternoon, you're going to see some local talent. Or while that headliner's playing, there's going to be an art component to let our talented folks be seen and heard as well. I think the real catalyst is we want our people telling our story so proudly that other people can't help but to come and enjoy it. Where you have that world-class quality of life, and people want to come experience it for themselves. And now what we're seeing is after they experience it, they don't really want to leave.
Did that trip to Israel help shape how you would approach the partnership with Horse Soldier?
I think so, because it just broadened my horizons. I got to tour Milk and Honey Whiskey Distilleries, the first distillery ever in Israel. And they were using old bourbon barrels to make their more of a Scotch type product, but whiskey. And I thought, again, they're doing this halfway around the world using a Kentucky product. And it sort of challenged me to dream bigger. I think that sometimes in small towns we have small visions. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to push every envelope possible because I felt like we were capable of so much more. This is a special place with great people in it. We just needed somebody to sort of take the lid off and see what was possible and what might bubble over.
You've got something pretty special going with connecting with the right people that share that vision and come from the same kind of material, if you will. It sounds like you found kindred spirits with the folks at Horse Soldier. Mm-hmm. That their anything is possible mentality has very much become a motto for Somerset.
Yeah, I mean, those guys liberated a country in 90 days. I mean, when we helped them actually secure the property for the farm, I was kind of puffing my chest out and peacocking a little, and he said, yeah, what took you so long? I was like, geez. But, that is their mentality. They always want to push the envelope. They do so much still for service. They have a sort of an expedition every year where they push the boundaries. I mean, from skydiving to celebrate the 75th anniversary in Normandy to deep sea diving to pick up the remains of fallen soldiers. I mean, they're always doing something to help someone else. And it's the ultimate service story. Well, as a local elected official, that's really what we are. We're public servants first. What better example than those guys to showcase true service and true humility?
When I sat down with Scott in the distillery, he told me, we don't do anything halfway.
Yeah, that's a fact.
We do it big, we go all in, and we do it with such pride. Yeah. And it just sounds like, talking to you now, that spirit has kind of lifted you up to say, well, Somerset's just the beginning. Mm-hmm. Why aren't we doing this across the Heartland? Yeah. Why aren't we inspiring other communities to really embrace their time? Because there is no time like now, I think, for rural America. Do you agree with that?
I love that statement. I mean, it does. It gets me excited because rural America is special. And I always say our competitive advantage is, yeah, we have the lake, but it's our people. And I believe that with all my heart. And I think that's the case across Kentucky. I think it's the case across all of Middle America. And that's not to say that I don't love the coast. Certainly it has some great things to offer. But I don't know that the coastal elites, if you will, represent all of us all the time. And so I think it's important for us to sort of control our own destiny again and tell that story. You'll hear me say that time and time again. Everybody's story is unique. My Somerset story was unique. And now we're telling it. Well, what's your story? What's your spirit? And what's your shared value that you want other people to experience? I think if we do that collectively, first thing we'll realize is we have a lot more in common than we realized. But secondly, people are going to be attracted to it. They're going to be a part of it. They're going to grow with you.
And I'll be honest, I think for so long, I hear people across rural Kentucky say, we feel looked down upon. Mm-hmm. We feel like often we're not as good as some of these other cities. And bigger companies go to these bigger cities. And I feel like there is a place and a movement happening now where rural America feels like, oh, we can do this. They feel very much like this is their time.
Well, for too long, I think we allowed it. We accepted some of those paradigms that were placed upon us. And then when you accept them, you start to even believe them. I don't know that a lot of people in Somerset thought what has happened was possible. I've been told many times, we just simply never thought it could happen. And so we do need some people to step up in a bold way and say, you know what, enough's enough. We are capable of this. We are better than this. And I'm sick of them telling me what I can and can't do. And I think if we'll have more leaders, more people step up, it really should be a bottom-up movement, though. It's not people like me as much as it is the people that live in these communities that say enough's enough. this is possible. We are going to do better. We are going to change the paradigm. And if you don't believe me, hang tight and watch.
Do you still keep in touch with the mayor of Jerusalem that inspired your spirit and that
You know, sadly,
outreach?
we actually never got to meet. So when I say he was called in on reserve duty, over there, when you're called in, you don't really have a choice. It's such a small country.
Yeah.
That meeting never happened. And then it was my first year in office, and then COVID happened, which that country shut down completely for a year and a half. And then I was up for re-election. And then, you know, now obviously we're at a serious time of turmoil. So I'm hoping to get back over there before I'm finished. We'll see. But if not, maybe that's something that the person that fills this seat can pick up that mantle and get it done.
I think you'd have a lot to tell them about what you've started here.
It would be awesome. It would be awesome.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Honored to have you here.
The culture has shifted. The calendar is full. Coming up for our final segment, we are going to look at the ultimate summer bucket list for Lake Cumberland. Stay with us.